What's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing, and I'm back at it with another boxing video. One of the few times I do these boxing videos, we got some good news. Oh shit. Holy cow. I didn't expect to see this news this morning. As a matter of fact, I didn't expect to at least even hear this news till for another 6 years, you know what I mean? But former middleweight contender from the country of Georgia, former country out of the Soviet Union, out there in Russia. Avtandil Khutsidze, former Georgian middleweight contender, who was arrested about 5 years ago as part of a federal sting to take down some major players over there in Brooklyn, a Russian criminal enterprise syndicate. Well, the man Khutsidze was part of that indictment. And he 10 years, you know what I mean? 10 years in the federal prisons of the United States on racketeering and conspiracy charges. But fuck all that. Avtandil Khutsidze is coming home. You know what I'm saying? Avtandil Khutsidze was supposed to do 10 years in the joint. Well, it looks like his sentence has been reduced. You know what I'm saying? And it's been reduced to, time served. And he's expected to be released any day now, sometime this week or maybe early next week, you know what I mean? Yes, indeed. Like I said, he went down on racketeering and conspiracy charges, you know what I mean? And now he's going to be coming home, and he's going to be on 2 years supervised release, according to the Southern District Court in New York City. Now, Khutsidze is 44 years old. Like I said, he's supposed to be released sometime next week from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. But, you know, there might be some complications, you know what I mean? Because this guy's not a United States citizen, you know what I mean? Khutsidze does not have a United States visa. So it's going to be tough, you know what I mean? It's going to be tough to see, you know, if the man is even going to stay in the United States. He might get deported, you know what I mean? So in April, Khutsidze, he was regarded by the feds as the chief enforcer for a Brooklyn-based Russian syndicate called the Shaluya Enterprise. You know what I mean? But the man Khutsidze in April, he won an appeal. And, you know, basically that appeal got his original sentence vacated. You know what I'm saying? By the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. They determined that the man Khutsidze, you know, that his national origin, you know, it played a role in the trial's judge sentencing decision. Now, lawyers for Khutsidze, you know what I mean? They've taken they've had issues with the client's 10-year sentence, you know what I mean? And that verdict was basically represented by recommended by the United States government. And, you know, more than double federal sentencing guidelines, 57 months or about 5 years for the Department of Probation. And the lawyers at Khutsidze, you know, they showed that no other defendant, and there were 32 total defendants in this Shaluya enterprise, but no other defendant in the enterprise, you know, in this Russian mob syndicate, nobody in that racketeering case got a sentence over and above their respective guidelines, you know what I mean? So, you know, basically the mob boss of this crew, this Shaluya enterprise, was a guy by the name of Razan Shaluya. You know what I mean? He's the head of the family, and he got 45 years. You know what I'm saying? But nobody else in the case got more time than the man Khutsidze. You know what I mean? So Khutsidze did his appeal, and he beat the case. Even though it's not like, you know, he's been exonerated for his role in the Shaluya enterprise. That's going to stay on his record for life. Yeah, I mean, but at least he's honorated and he's coming home early. He's done 4 years. Yeah, I mean, and they said this man, the feds, the Federal Bureau of Prisons said he was a model citizen in the joint. I guess he wasn't cracking nobody's scars and breaking nobody's faces up in the joint, which he definitely can. You know what I mean? And last December he got the COVID-19, and he's been vaccinated since March. Um, Let me read you what his attorney said. He has an attorney, and this is what he said, quote, we are happy with the outcome, a sentence that is commensurate with the underlying offenses and the sentences imposed on the many co-defendants in the case. A sentence that also reflects Avtandil's commendable adjustment to incarceration over the past 4 years. End quote. Those are quotes by his attorney. Megan Bennett. Now, this decision, like I said, man, I'm sure it's great news. Great news for the man, Khutsidze, who's been in the joint since 2017. You know what I mean? He went into prison. His record was 33-2, 22 KOs. Now, I first knew about this guy, Khutsidze. It was a Saturday night. I was at the D.C. Armory, Washington, D.C. I was there watching a Golden Boy / Top Rank card. You know what I mean? Headliner was Saddam Ali versus Jesse Vargas. It was for the vacant WBO welterweight title. A title that who had that title, as a matter of fact? How did it become vacant? I try to recollect my memory. That title was going back and forth with fellas like Tim Bradley and Manny Pacquiao. So I can't even remember why it was vacant, to be honest, right about now. 147, whatever. Okay. So the title was vacant. I was at the DC Armory watching that Golden Boy, that top ranking Golden Boy / promotion. Also on that card was Luis Ortiz. Was Brian? No, not Brian Jennings. I've seen Brian Jennings elsewhere. There was a lot of good fights on that card. A lot of good fights, a lot of spectacular knockouts, including the main event, Jesse Vargas versus Saddam Ali. So that night, there was boxing also on Showtime. On, what's that show called? Not Box Nation. Showbox. Showbox is where they put up the up-and-coming fighters, right? Fellas who are prospects about to be contenders and shit. Fellas like where Showbox produced a lot of world champions, from Andre Ward, Robert the Ghost Guerrero, plenty of fighters. So that night, like I said, I was at DC Armory. I finished watching the fights live, you know what I mean? Then I came home to catch this Showtime card. And they had a fighter from Southeast Washington, D.C. by the name of Antoine Douglas, a young boy at the time. I believe Slim was like 19, 20 years old. And he was fighting this guy called Khutsidze. Never heard of him. But boy, when I seen this dude, Avtandil Khutsidze, fight, man, he was a pleasure to watch. Tough. I'm going to watch that motherfucking fight again today. I'm going to find some time and try to watch that fight again. But this man, Antoine Douglas, was undefeated at the time, and Khutsidze had about 2 losses, and he beat the F up out of Antoine Douglas. He ruined that man. He ruined Antoine Douglas from ever being somebody as a professional fighter, and that's real spill, real talk, you know what I mean? That fella's Khutsidze laid the smack down on some Russian. He was calling himself like the Russian Mike Tyson, you know what I mean? Boom. Gets that nice W, snatches Antoine Douglas W out the way. Then he went into England, I believe. He fought this kid named Tommy Langford. You know what I mean? And boy, I think, if I remember, he knocked him out with a spectacular left hook. I'm saying, Kershaw was on the rise. Boom, I'm enjoying this guy. I like how he talks. He's a funny dude. He calls himself Russian black man or something. He did a crazy interview on Box Nation. What a character. Then he was supposed to fight the man Billy Joe Saunders for the WBO middleweight strap held by Billy Joe Saunders at the time. This fight was supposed to pop off on July of 2017. I was looking forward to this fight. I was picking Kershaw. I don't give a F what nobody say. I felt he was going to put pressure on the man. Uh, uh, Billy Joe Saunders was a very good boxer, at least at them times, but he wasn't going to handle that pressure from the Russian. Boom. So a month before that fight was supposed to happen with Billy Joe Saunders, um, it was informed that the man Kershaw visa had been approved, and he flew from his country, Georgia, to New York to continue training for this middleweight title fight he was about to get in with the man Billy Joe Saunders. As soon as the man arrives at JFK Airport, um, in New York City, Queens, boom, the federal agents was at the motherfucking airport, JFK, and they apprehended, arrested, and snatched that man, Kurtzside. You know what I mean? You check it, and the man came here with a smile, thinking he about to get a visa, but nope, the feds was waiting for him at JFK Airport. Now, the government initially had offered Kurtzside a plea deal. You know what I mean? Trying to get that man to probably snitch on the Shulaya Enterprise, offer him a plea deal. They're not offering him a plea deal just because they like him or they like his boxing or they think he's a funny guy. No. In return of this 3-year sentence they try and give him, they want the man Kurtzside to reveal, snitch, be a confidential informant, or a cooperating witness to snitch on the Shulaya Enterprise. But Kurtzside a stand-up dude. He don't speak great English. But I already knew that them fellas wasn't going to do that. And he rejected the government's, 3-year sentence plea. And he went to trial. And eventually he was convicted of 2 counts, you know what I mean? One of conspiring to defraud a casino, and the other for engaging in Shulaya's racketeering schemes. And he got hit with 10 years, you know what I mean? Immediately, Kurtzside's lawyers, they filed an appeal, you know what I mean? But like I said, it's not 100% clear if this man Kurtzside will stay in the United States after being released next week. The United States, where he's been living and working as a professional boxer up until he got arrested at JFK Airport. It's either he gets deported or he's going to stay in the United States, or he get reported back to his home country. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't have a visa. You see, that's crucial. I don't see them fellas. I don't know. Maybe wrong, but shit, fellas like Sean Poe. Sean got deported as soon as he did his 10-year stretch in New York State prisons. As soon as he got out, they put that motherfucker on Con Air and shipped that man back to Belize. But the man Sean Poe is a politician in Belize now, and he came to the United States about a month ago on some diplomatic visa type thing. You know what I mean? This guy Kurtzside ain't no politician. He ain't nobody as far as somebody the United States government going to take as a special person and give him a visa. The man committed federal crimes according to the government, allegedly. So, I don't see them fellas getting a visa. I may be wrong. I hope he does. I don't think we're going to see him boxing again. Slim is 44 years old. Lost 4 years of his life. He obviously wasn't breaking jaws up in the joint because the Federal Bureau of Prisons say he was a model citizen up in there. His lawyer said, quote, "We aren't sure what will happen on the immigration front, but he should at the very least be released from the custody of the Federal Bureau of Prisons next week," end quote. And that's from his lawyer, Bennett. So the man Kurtzside, man, if y'all don't know who Kurtzside is, man, I suggest y'all look at my title of my video, learn how to spell his name, punch that shit up in YouTube, and go look at his fights. The two fights that he had before he was about to get that world title shot. Antoine Douglas fight on Showtime. I said Showtime. Yeah, Showtime Showbox. And the Tommy Langford fight when he went to the UK and blasted Slim out. You know what I mean? What's up? B more the BK in the chat. What the deal, my guy? B more the BK says, good morning, bro. Yo, I met Son and BK. Absolutely. I remember you told me, man. You told me you met him up in Brooklyn, man. He says, yo, I met Son in BK and I like his energy in the ring. You know what I mean? Big ups to him for getting out the joint. Absolutely. Salute to him on his due diligence to fight for the appeal. Big ups to his lawyers. You know, they did show some footage, you know what I mean? Some kind of CCTV footage. Them fellas was like an enforcer. He was breaking jaws on the streets of Brooklyn, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it was down there in Brighton Beach area, Coney Island, you know, southern Brooklyn. That's where the Russian mob operate. You know what I mean? It's a big Russian community. There's more Russians over there down there in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, than there is anywhere else in the world besides the country of Russia. You know what I mean? That's why I never understood these nut ass boxing promoters. If you have a Russian fighters like the Lomachenkos, you know, even though it's Ukrainian, but these former Soviet bloc, Eastern Bloc fighters from Russia, Georgia, you know, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, all these. I don't know why they never put him over there and base him in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Might start him off like Lou DiBella. DiBella was doing that. As a matter of fact, I think Kershaw was a Lou DiBella fighter, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, he was. You know what I mean? You build him up in Brooklyn, and then to the point to where they eventually only fight in Barclays Center or MSG in front of sold out crowds. Nah, but let these promoters have it. Like, you know, Lomachenko was a guy that Bob Arum never really capitalized on as far as being a major attraction for his so-called skill set. You know, how they praised his skill set and him being a two-time Olympic gold medalist. They should have done a better job promoting that guy. They tried to at least, you know, they tried to put him up in MSG, but Brooklyn, New York, that was where they really need to they should have put their flag down for all their Russian fighters. Sergey Kovalev never had a home. Kathy Duva's a whack-ass promoter. Had them fellas fighting in Atlantic City, and Atlantic City's been dead for boxing. Should have taken them fellas to Brooklyn at the amphitheater. You know what I mean? Have them fighting down there in Coney Island or something. Even if it's in front of 3,000. Build it for 3,000. Next event, 6,000, 9,000. To the point where, like, you know what? We got to put him up in the Barclays Center. That's what they should have done. Big ups, Dan the Man. Salute, Dan the Man. Big ups to my G from the UK. He says, welcome home. Those were some big boy charges he faced. Absolutely, man. Fellas got hit with racketeering shit, you know? Like I said, man, his boss got 45 years. Everybody else in the indictment got less time than the man Avtandil Khutsidze. I don't know you know, the structure of that crime family, you know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure the man Avtandil wasn't the second in command behind Shulaya. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm pretty sure there's other guys who committed heinous um, committed some acts of crime, and it's crazy they got less time than the man Kurtzside. You know what I mean? You want to see a good movie that depicts, you know, these Brooklyn Russian crime mob syndicates. There's a good movie with what's the kid's name? Joaquin Phoenix. Is it Joaquin Phoenix or something? And what's that? The Hispanic gal. Eva Mendes, you know what I mean? You could even see her titties in the joint, dog. She show her titties. Yeah. But the movie's name is We Own the Night. We Own the Night. Not a true story, but a good crime movie based out there in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? In Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. But it's about Russian crime mob syndicates. But big ups to everybody in the chat. The man Kurt Side's coming home. Fortunately, the man lost 4 years of his life. Being a middleweight contender is probably out the question. You know, the guy might not even be in the United States ever again. Might get released from prison and put straight up and down on handcuffs from the ankles to the hands to the wrists and put on a flight and taken back to Russia. We shall see. I'm pretty sure we're going to get news about this in the following week. Be March Boxing, big up, stay buddy in the chat, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm gone. One.